fetal periods, but they also may continue for quite some time into childhood and sometimes even into adulthood, depending on what it is that needs to be altered. The idea is that it is done energetically, vibrationally, with certain kinds of energy frequencies that are representative of reformatting the DNA structure, delinking and relinking, and the creation, even sometimes, of new elements that fit into the structure, that are connected to other dimensions and other realms. It is a process that sometimes can be ongoing for quite some time in the life of any particular individual who is participating in the hybridization agenda towards the idea of Earth becoming the sixth hybrid race.
As adults, can we begin to remember parts of the collective from that civilization?
You can remember what is going on in the collective if you let go of the fear and allow yourselves to become more conscious of your choice to participate in the hybridization agenda and ask for the experiences to continue or to be remembered on your own terms, in your own way, so that you may know yourself as a true participant, having chosen to be, then yes, the idea is that you can begin to tap into the knowledge and information that will allow you what you call the memory of what is going on the collective level and even on the individual levels of those who are participating in the hybridization agenda.
Hola, Bashar. I'm Mariana from Colombia. I'm so excited and glad I have the opportunity to ask you a question. And I really wanted to know if you have any special advice for Latin American people and young people during these upcoming years. Thank you.
The advice that we have just given in this transmission and will give in the meditation to anchor in this permission slip of passage through the eye of the needle, now that you are all sequestered in your own places, will be of paramount importance to allow you to center yourselves and strip away those things that won't allow you to pass through the eye of the needle to the other side into a world that is more representative of the kind of reality that you prefer to experience. So the things that we have shared with you this day, of the causations of the present circumstance and what you can do to create the balance and restoration of your planet and your energy and your collective consciousness in the way we have described through this particular permission slip exercise, will be what is of paramount importance to undertake during this time of sequestering.
Hello, Bashar. I hope you're well. I've thought about this, and I guess the core of what I'm wanting to ask is, how do I get out of the headspace of always thinking that I need to chase the money? And how do I move in to the heart space of, following my heart more decidedly and with less doubt? Thank you very much. That is all. Good day.
Remember, first and foremost, that doubt is simply a 100% trust in a belief you don't prefer, in a belief that is out of alignment with your true self. There's no such thing as a lack of trust. Doubt is not a lack of trust. It is trusting something you don't prefer. But the idea of going more into your heart space with abundance is to form an understanding in a new relationship with the concept of what abundance actually is. As we have defined it, again, it is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. Money is one of the forms of abundance, or one of the symbols of abundance in exchange on your planet, but it isn't the only one. Being given a gift is a form of abundance. Having something to trade is a form of abundance. Imagination is a form of abundance, and synchronicity is a form of abundance. So forming a broader relationship with the concept of abundance and allowing all forms to come in when they need to in pure, perfect timing will allow a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of that to work together to form the 100% abundance that you may need to allow you the ability to continue to act on your passion in life. So to come from the heart, you must relax the mind in understanding that it is more, shall we say, realistic to allow for many forms of abundance to pervade existence and to come through you in any way, shape, or form they need to, rather than closing those doors to prevent other forms of abundance from coming in, just because you are so highly focused on needing only one form of abundance, which can often shortchange you because it may not be the form that is actually the path of least resistance for what you need to do.
Hi, Bashar. I was wondering if you could clarify the difference between a relationship where you give your power away to someone else and one where you don't give your power away to someone else. How would we recognize the difference? It seems as if every relationship there's some sort of exchange of energy. Is energy different than how you've defined power? Thank you.
Well, again, most people, when they're honest with themselves, will recognize the difference between true excitement and anxiety. They just have to be honest with themselves. And the phrase, by the way, giving your power away, is not really an accurate description of what's happening. You can never actually give your power away. You can, however, use your power to make yourself feel powerless, to make yourself feel as if you have given your power away. But all you're doing is matching the frequency of what the other person is suggesting that you should do. So if you don't match that frequency, you will not be able to have the experience of using your power to create the experience or the appearance of having given your power away. So the first and foremost thing to understand is power cannot be given away, but you can create the experience as if that's what's happening by simply matching the frequency of something you don't prefer just because it was suggested or offered to you by another person who may be dealing with that issue themselves. It's all based on frequency, all based on vibration of consciousness. And again, there is no actual exchange. There is a harmonizing, a matching, a mirroring of frequencies to have similar experiences at the same time, whether negative or positive. So stop thinking in terms of actually giving something away. Stop thinking in terms of actually literally exchanging energy. You are using your own energy in your own reality and changing the frequency of it to be either more or less similar to the frequency someone else is displaying. That's how those experiences happen in your own reality, is because you are tuning yourselves to the same frequency or a similar enough frequency to someone else to have the same experience, positive or negative, at the same time as the other person. So in that sense, power is energy, energy is power, and it's all based on resonance. It's all based on frequency. It's all based on vibration.
Hello, Bashar. I entered a new parallel reality lately, which is totally different from the ones that I have been living before, so to speak. And I know that it resembles of who I truly am. So now my question is, how can I surrender fully to this control that is already built in this new stream, so fully, so profoundly, that I can totally clearly see myself from the new point of view only? Thank you.
Again, the things that we have described in this particular permission slip that will allow you to pass through the eye of the needle and come out the other side as more your true self can aid and assist you in this endeavor. So pay attention to the process that we described in the monologue and crystallize it for yourself in the meditation that will accompany this transmission as well. And there will be an upcoming transmission in the near future called the Parallel Reality Wheel that may also act as a permission slip to crystallize this concept for you more clearly.
Hi Bashar, my name is Gabriela. I'm from Canada and I have a few questions for you. My first question is, what's your favorite dish and what's your favorite specific activity?
As you know, I am a first contact specialist, and therefore that is representative of my passion. But other expressions of my passion are as an explorer, as a sculptor, utilizing certain kinds of nanotechnology to create certain forms that are vibrationally and physiologically representative of different flows and vibrations of energy within existence, and allow others, by matching those frequencies, to have different kinds of interactive experiences with other levels of consciousness that I may have encountered in my journey as a first contact specialist. As I have also said, we no longer eat, we no longer sleep. So in that sense, I cannot answer your question of having a favorite dish. If dish is what you meant by food, we no longer eat.
And what's your favorite song?
The vibrations that move me at any given moment, at that moment, are my favorite because they move me in my passion. Whatever that may be. Of course, as we have said, Ethithani music is a little different than earth music in that it would seem very simplistic to you, based on trinary structures, 3-count formulas, but where you might only hear a simple note, we would hear a symphony because we can hear more chords than you, we can hear more vibrations than you, because we are tuned to different dimensional levels of sound, or what may pass for sound in different dimensions. But whatever moves me at any given moment, at that moment is my favorite because it moves me.
My second question is, what is aggression? Can you define it? And how does it help us?
It is a fear-based belief system that has to do with desperation and feeling that you are not going to get what you need unless you assert yourself beyond normal parameters. It is a fear of lack, manifesting itself as a behavior that overwhelms because it is believed that the overwhelm must be expressed in order for the individual to receive what they need, because they do not believe in the automatic power of their natural balance to bring them what they need.
And my last question is a little bit fantastic. I've heard that apparently mermaids are real. So how can I meet one? What would be like the procedure to follow?
The procedure to follow to meet what you call a mermaid would be that you would have to transition to another dimension where they actually exist. Because even though now and then one of them may come through a portal into your reality, they do not live in your reality, and therefore they are not something that you can automatically find anywhere you go. You would have to transition into their dimension of reality, and we will not discuss exactly, precisely how to do that yet. There may be some information to this regard in the upcoming transmission called the Parallel Reality Wheel, but that is not something we will address in specific terms at this particular moment.
On the mark when you said 2020 was going to be nuts and crazy, but we didn't realize how much.
Well, yes, we couldn't necessarily give you too much information or we would have caused a panic.
Yeah, yeah, well, there's a lot of panic now. But I wanted to ask about the virus specifically. Was it bioengineered or was it just a natural occurrence?
Natural occurrence. It is the result of the destruction of various ecosystems on your planet that allow the virus that would naturally be contained in that ecosystem to spread farther than it normally would and find new hosts, because many of its own hosts, which would be the animals in the ecosystem, have been eliminated through the destruction of the ecosystem. Therefore, viruses will then seek out new niches to inhabit, which will now include humanity.
So what's the solution to this? Because a lot of people like Bill Gates have been talking about vaccinating the planet, which there's quite a lot of us who don't agree with that. So what is the solution?
Well, we cannot necessarily tell you which way to go. We will have to leave that up to you and your own choices. But obviously, since we are talking about the destruction of certain ecological systems, one solution would be the restoration of those systems rather than the continued destruction on your planet. Also, the reduction of fear-based belief systems negative energy that is causing stress around your world since 2016 has diminished the immune system of most people on your planet by being put in exceedingly stressful situations of uncertainty, and therefore a rebalancing of the energy and an outputting of more positive energy would also be of some assistance to the collective consciousness so that the immune system will not be compromised in the way that it has been for the past several years.
So are there, some people have been using vitamin C and quinine and things like that too.
I cannot discuss specific remedies that go into health issues because we are not allowed to discuss health issues in the physical sense of giving you cures.
Okay.
Now, as we have said previously, however, you can always begin with information we have already delivered on that subject, which means make sure that you are detoxified as much as you possibly can, so that at the very least, the nutrients that you do manage to put in your bodies will actually take hold in the cellular structure and allow your body to repair itself as best as it possibly can in the circumstances and strengthen your immune system. So detoxification of the pollutants that exist in your society that then get lodged in your cellular structures and prevent nutrients from being absorbed would be the first step, so that whatever you do intake will remain in your cellular structure, will be able to even get into your cellular structure by being as thoroughly detoxified as you possibly can be. That's all we are allowed to say about the idea of any particular physiological remedying that may go on in your system. Other than that, we cannot advise for the idea of health issues with respect to remedies and cures.
Okay, thank you for that. And in terms of like the Sasani Collective, you know, I mean, and the civilizations you're aware of watching this, but it feels like we're in some sort of reality TV show. So
in a sense, you are.
Yeah, let's call it Earth 2020. So what do they make of this virus episode? Could you ask the collective?
As we have already said, we recognize that you are going through what we call the eye of the needle. It is an important time of compression. The fact that you have created a situation where you are isolating yourselves, sequestering yourselves, distancing yourselves, gives you a sparkling opportunity to go within, to reassess your belief systems, to strip away those that don't serve you, so that you may in fact be capable of more effortlessly passing through what we call the eye of the needle to the other side. This is the midpoint. This is the crossing point. This is why we said 2020 was a very pivotal year in terms of what it is that is potentially possible and probable for you to experience on the other side of this. So it is an opportunity for you to strip away those things that are not you. Let go of the past ideas. Learn from them, but don't anchor to them. Don't repeat the ideas of what you used to be, but instead allow yourselves, as we said, to be informed by your future selves so that you can be guided effortlessly through this very, very narrow eye of the needle, which will not allow things that are not you to pass easily through it. So streamlining yourselves down by letting go of those belief systems that do not serve you and adopting only those ones that are true for you will be the whole point of what's going on in the center of this transformational period, passing through the eye of the needle.
Well, thank you for that. And when do you see this virus ending?
As long as it has already been going on in your general awareness, about 3.5 months of your time will be the amount of time on the other side of this particular point as well, before you will find yourselves going into a state where you feel that things are settling down somewhat. This doesn't mean that it may not reoccur, but the idea is that this passage is about half a year long, and you are in the middle of it.
Okay. And I feel kind of like when you said 2020 was going to be crazy, I feel like there's a lot more to come. And
there will be, but again, how you experience it depends upon what it is you let go of, so that when you get on the other side of the eye of the needle, the other side of that passage, you'll be able to handle whatever it is that does crop up from that point forward in a much more effective and positive way.
Would one of the things that may come up be as you read the energy now, would it be like a prelude to maybe President Trump announcing without a doubt that we're in contact with extraterrestrials?
We cannot make this prediction.
Okay, thank you for that. The other thing I wanted to ask was, in terms of the actual name of it, coronavirus. Obviously, corona means crown. So is this in any way linked?
Corona means halo.
Halo, sorry.
Like the halo, the corona of the sun.
Yes.
It is named that way because of the halo of protrusions around the virus.
Ah, right, okay. So in terms of the people who are, say, I'm experiencing a lot of different realities all at once at the moment. Sometimes it feels like it's fake, all this. Sometimes it feels very real.
Yes.
Sometimes it's in the middle.
Yes.
Is that because of all the parallel realities converging?
Yes. This is the time, and we will be in an upcoming transmission talking more specifically about this idea of the converging parallel realities in a transmission soon called the Parallel Reality Wheel, to give you more understanding and conscious awareness and efficacy in working with all of the different overlapping parallel reality versions of Earth you are now experiencing in this transitional period. Yes.
And in terms of the human trafficking that Donald Trump's trying to eradicate now, is that partly linked to...
We cannot comment on your political situation to that degree.
Okay. In terms of the hybrid children, is there anything they can do for us to help us, or is anything...
They are doing everything that they possibly can. Please, all of you, understand this very important point. We are all doing everything that can already be done. We are giving you all the assistance we can possibly be allowed to give you. You don't have to ask for more than you're being given. You simply have to become more aware of what it is you're already getting.
Right. It feels like there's a huge awakening taking place.
There is.
Is that the whole point of this?
It is the whole point. Becoming more of yourself through this transformation. How you do it is up to you. But we would strongly encourage you, as we always have, to let go of those things that are not you, those fear-based beliefs, to streamline yourself so that any transformation and any transitional passage can be experienced in the most effortless way. It's about discovering yourself from a new point of view.
Thank you. There's a lot of fear coming from like the media, and they're constantly feeding it. So what would be some good solutions to overcome that?
As we have already said, let go of the idea of matching the frequencies of fear-based belief systems. Recognize through your own honest self-investigation and discernment what is and isn't relevant for the reality that you prefer. You have the ability to choose. Make a decision.
What do you expect a reality in terms of what we prefer coming out of the other side of this? What can we expect to see? Because
it will still take time. It will still take time. But this is the opportunity to practice knowing how to live in the reality you prefer through the actions that you take that would be representative of the actions you would be taking if you already lived in that reality. So it's about people allowing themselves to let their behavior be more truly reflective and representative of the reality they prefer to live in, so that they can navigate themselves through the different parallel realities to one that is more reflective and representative of the actions they are taking.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed this, that I've been quite excited in some ways through all this and observing. I've not been really entering the fear really, and I've just felt like I've been observing it.
A neutral place is a good place to be, for then you are in the balance point and can make decisions more clearly by not allowing yourself to necessarily succumb to the vibrations you don't prefer, recognizing more clearly, more consciously what is going on and making the decisions that are apropos for the person you prefer to be, recognizing that those that don't match belong to another reality that you don't live in.
Yes. And you know, in 2016, when you're in the State of the Union seminar, when your father passed on the prediction about there being in the next 4 years from then a terrorist attack on a global level, is this in any way linked to that? Because he also mentioned an economic collapse soon after that.
It is somewhat connected, but again, we will not make predictions at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. And say hello to my hybrid kids.
You may do so as well.
Thank you. Shivai.